Check, check, 1, 2. Am I on? I'm hot. What am I supposed to do?
You lagging a bit, bro. Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Steady Miguel. It's your favorite Uncle Silk.
It's Dan.
And Delatorre.
Welcome back to the same corner, same time. What was your boys this weekend like?
Nick, why don't you start us off, bud?
It's still going on. Still out here in Las Vegas.
Sound a little hoarse.
Yeah, that's gone. Lots of money gone. Nice bachelor party weekend. And I'm spending most of the day in the Centurion Club here in McCarran Airport. It could be worse. Could be worse places to be. But yeah,
Who are you screaming at,
You hear
fam?
that subtle flex still?
It was a little.
I want to figure out who you were screaming at. The strippers? Like, who are you yelling at last night?
We were at Web Republic. I don't know what day it was. Days are meaningless at this point.
I feel Vegas vibes.
But we were at a pool party. Steve Aoki was there. Big energy, big vibes. As we were leaving, saw a guy
Big cheeks.
swing on a security guard.
Sounds about Vegas.
Never swing on a security guard. It did not end well. It ended quickly for him, but not well. But yeah, great time. Voice is gone, but
Right.
good time. Shout out to Kyle. We brought him back home to his fiance. So put him on a plane. He survived. We're all good.
What's the vacation vibes like in Vegas right now in the pandemic? And
So they just went back to masks. Like if you're watching on YouTube, I got my mask on, but I'm in like my own room here. Everything was packed, but you just have to wear a mask.
right.
They must have been hurting. They must have been
Wear
hurting
masks
bad
everywhere?
though, because indoors. But like the pool party packed. If you're playing at a table, blackjack, craps, roulette, gotta have your mask on unless you're eating or drinking. I think they were down bad because there was like a 3-4 month stretch where they couldn't do anything.
Right.
So I think the governor put a mask mandate in like 2 weeks ago, and that's how they're operating. But people are still out here.
My weekend wasn't as eventful. How was your weekend, Dan?
You know, it was relatively relaxing. I went to a birthday party for a 1-year-old on Friday night, and then unfortunately I had to head down to South Florida just for the day on Saturday. My mom's uncle passed away a few weeks ago.
Condolences.
At 100 years old, lived a full life. So I went to his funeral, went to his burial, and just a reminder of, you go to a 1-year-old's birthday and then you go to a funeral the next day, and it just reminds you kind of the preciousness of life. But him and his wife his wife is now still alive. They've been married. They were married for 77 years. So just an incredible life, an incredible story. Grew up in Pahokee, so kind of your neck of the woods there. So
Nice.
played football at the University of Miami for a couple of years. Knew that he would probably get drafted into World War II. Ended up enlisting with the Marines. Served proudly in the Pacific Theater for a few years, and then came back and did a host of things, construction, consulting, things of that nature. But lived an incredible life. A great guy.
I didn't know you had mug people in your on your what do you call it? Tree?
My family
Yeah,
tree.
family tree. Yeah.
Yes, Silk. I have family all over the place. My family's been here in Florida for a long, long time now. Got people all over the state now. I think if memory serves me right, I think the muck was a little different in the 40s than it is now. But a proud Pahokee graduate.
A little bit different. I think everywhere was different in the 40s. That's a take. I didn't do a whole lot, man. On the family, we hung out in Orlando this weekend. Wasn't in South Florida, so our second home is Orlando. Up there doing a little business, shopping. Went and ate some Peruvian food with the wife. Had a little date night up there. That's it. Normal dad, father shenanigans.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, you sound like you was yelling at kids for sure.
I don't know. I don't know what I was doing. I don't know. I've definitely got my fix of Vegas for a while. I was telling Dan on the pre-show. So it's my first time here, but I was like, I'm good for a while.
Right.
I'm good for like another 2 years. I'll see Vegas in 2024.
Yeah, Vegas is a young man game.
Yeah, Vegas changes a lot as you get older. I was there a couple years ago, and I was reeling for about a week. Go now, my body might act a little bit differently, be a little bit more prepared. But a few years ago, I don't need to hurry back to Vegas anytime soon.
Oh,
All right, boys, go ahead, Silk.
No, let's get into what we got on the docket. We got quite the show. I'm ready to hang out a little bit, buy and sell some things. What else we got?
We got a lot to talk about. Before we do that, let's give a shout out to our title sponsor, Brunt Insurance. So, Silk, tell everybody where they can find Greg at.
Shout out to the great folks of Brunt Insurance and Financial Services. Greg, what it do? Anything you need insured from the Panhandle to the Keys, hit my man Greg up at bruntinsurance.com or 954-589-2204. Anything from home, auto, life insurance, motorcycle insurance, business insurance, home insurance, my man Greg can take care of you. Bruntinsurance.com or 954-589-2204. Big coverage.
Shout out to Greg. Couple pieces of housekeeping. In news-wise, Gator news, UF's Dan Mullen. Sorry, I don't know why I read UF's Dan Mullen. Of course he's from UF. Dan Mullen and Scott Strickland today announced, I guess it was mainly Scott Strickland, that the Gators sit at just above a 90% vaccination rate for COVID-19. Obviously, the rules and a lot of the things that have come out from the SEC about if a team is below a certain threshold and they have to, I believe it's an 85% threshold, right, Nick?
85, yeah.
85% threshold. If they're below that and they have to forfeit or they can't play, the game is forfeited, counts as a loss. And so the Gators are above that threshold, and they're above a 90% threshold. So that's not something that we'll have to worry about for the Gators this season. So that's good news for them. And then as we hinted at last week, David Connor, offensive lineman from Fort Lauderdale High School, announced his commitment to the University of Fairfield Beach High School. 6'6", 270 pounds, Broward County boy, ranked 3 stars on 247 and in the 247 composite. A guy that kind of came quickly to the University of Florida, offered him a few months ago. Had a big first game for Deerfield Beach. Had a couple of highlights where he mauled some players. But Silk, want to get your thoughts on David Connor, the Gators' newest offensive tackle commitment.
Developmental kid. Just be honest. It's not David's fault that he's got to offer or anything like that. No slight to the kid. I think he can play. I think he could probably contribute as a redshirt junior or something like that. Yeah. Another developmental guy. I think we're somewhere different in the program. I think Dan Mullen has been entrenched here a little bit. He should have relationships right now to be able to land bigger targets. But just a developmental kid. I think his film is just okay. That's just my take on it. There's some other takes out there, or some other recruits that we're eyeing the offensive line. And just right now, I just hope we can flip something. I hope something could change during the season. But I think his film is just okay. I think he projects if he's going to be playing tackle, it's going to be a while before we see him on the field.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So the group I was out here with, most of them are Michigan fans. Went to Michigan. And I was talking. They were asking me about Florida, and I'm like, yeah, people aren't really happy with the offensive line coach and recruiting. And he's like, but aren't you competing against Alabama? And I'm like, yeah. If I'm a dad of an offensive lineman right now, like I'm sending my kid to Bama. Let him be the 36th first rounder. But I don't know why you're taking projects, so I'm working around it. I don't think you need to take projects.
It's not like
for these kids, but
we're not even competing with Bama for offensive linemen though. We're competing with like UCF and like other programs. It one thing if we losing Leatherwoods to Bama, but that's not what's happening right now.
I'm worried about offensive tackle for the future. Like once Garage is gone, DeLance is gone this year, it gets scary quick. Even this year, if one guy goes down, the depth just isn't there. And the depth that you do have are guys that have played, a couple more snaps than the three of us.
Yeah, I think that's obviously my biggest concern is the Gators' depth. That Dan Mullen said that he thinks the Gators have 7 players. John Hevesy thinks that they have 8. Realistically, you want at least 10. And I think even of those 7 or 8, there's some question marks with a lot of them when it comes to production because we've not seen it, right? They may be showing it in practice. They may be showing it in the weight room, and they may come out and really show out. But beyond just a numbers issue, I think that you have an experience issue. You lose Stone Forsythe last year. You lose Brett Hagee last year to graduation. So you have a lot of inexperience on the offensive line already. And then behind him, it's a vast step down in terms of, in-game snap experience. So that's a huge concern. And like you just said, so, Garage leaves, whatever your thoughts are on him, Gene DeLance leaves, Stuart Reese leaves. You have, some big holes around the offensive line over the next few seasons.
Yeah, I don't want to beat on the dead horse, but I mean, somebody got to hit it.
Yeah.
I just don't. It ain't the University of Florida. Like, what high school kid? You grew up in the state of Florida. You don't want to play in Atlanta. We're not down right now. We're competing for like big games. We're in New Year's 6 bowls and whatnot. So I don't get what's going on. It has to be the recruiter. That's it. There's no other excuse. We're playing in big games. We're sending guys to the league. There's no other excuse than the recruiter just not getting it done.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean that's sad. Certainly we're not harping on any particular player developed potentially into somebody, but we've talked a lot about it with Mike Farrell on the show. We've talked about it a few weeks ago with Andy Staples. Is you get these guys and you want to develop them, and maybe they do develop, and you hope the best for every player that does commit. But at the end of the day, what if you could develop 4-star guys and 5-star guys into 2 and 3 and 4-year starters? That's where I think that Florida's missing, and I think that the challenges that Florida has in the offensive line now are going to keep getting exacerbated over the next few years, because that's been our biggest weakness in recruiting by far.
That's the biggest thing, is that maybe it might be okay this year. The biggest thing is moving forward, and you got to start getting guys now, and not a guy that if you're going to have depth issues in 2022, getting a guy who's going to need to sit for 3 years until he's ready to play is going to help you.
I almost feel like we got to play with a JUCO ranks, or just right, because offensive linemen don't transfer like that. Like, it's hard to hit in the portal or O lineman. It's just
Unless a grad transfer or something.
Right, and that's just like
but even still,
yeah.
Right. Who's grad transferring from a great school with a great offensive line, right? You got to hope that you end up with a good player, and not no offense to him, but a transfer from like a Hofstra or one of these small schools, and just kind of hope for the best.
Right.
It's the toughest position to develop, but
yeah, I think they need to hit JUCO. They need to hit
Mason
JUCO.
Halter.
Yeah. Yeah, they need to hit JUCO, or they need to get a kid that can play right away. That's why, like, no slight to this kid, this Connor kid, but it's just for our needs. We need a kid that could contribute early, whether it be JUCO or highly recruited kid out of high school. This just not gonna keep us where we need to be.
Yeah, but David Connor, first year down in Deerfield Beach, played in Georgia last year at Martin Luther King High School. Again, is definitely a developmental guy, a basketball player, athletic, but just not the offer sheet that you necessarily want. But again, no slight to the kid, and I hope he comes in and is able to show out.
Right. Yeah. Congrats to the kid though. Like,
yeah.
No slight to him. We just got to cover it from every aspect because we cover Gators football.
Yep. So he joins the class. The Gators are ranked. Let's see.
We got some ranking boosts, man. We got shop a little bit.
Yeah. So Florida sits. Sorry, let me just double check here before I give you the wrong information, because the numbers changed drastically. Florida sits right now number 16 in the recruiting rankings. Some of that was helped by rivals making some adjustments to their rankings, including Shamar James, the guy that we're really high on. Yep, got a couple guys from rivals on the show, and all of a sudden you see huge bumps, right?
You're welcome.
Let's see. Shamar James, linebacker from Mobile, Alabama, climbed from spot 210 all the way up to number 40, ranked as the second best inside linebacker in the class and the second best player in Alabama. So now the ranked 4-star overall, just instinctive guy, good motor, good speed, just a really impressive player. And I know that, Florida beat out Alabama and a lot of great schools for him. So Shamar James is just climbing up that list, and I don't think that's going to necessarily stop either. Beyond him, the Gators also had a big jump from Isaiah Bond. Isaiah Bond was previously unranked by rivals, jumps all the way up, here to spot he had a huge jump. Again, goes from unranked to the number 8 athlete of the class, number 7 in the state of Florida. Speedster, guy's going to play wide receiver, play that slot position. So just incredible jump him up the rankings as well. But again, Florida's class moved up a ton. So, again, I think that you're going to see that in a lot of great players that Florida got that are now receiving the rankings that they rightfully deserve. Anybody else that you think is going to climb the list this year?
Shamar's the one. I mean, that jump sounds crazy, but I think he's a stud. And, I didn't understand how he was so low to begin with. So that's one that definitely popped out to me. That's such a wild bump, too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be the Gators' highest linebacker commit since, they got Derek Wingo, but beyond him, in a long time.
I think the kids like CJ Hawkins, the basketball playing kids, the kids that really haven't played a whole lot of football, they have a big chance to jump up this far. So I think that the tight end CJ Hawkins and also maybe this offensive line we just got cornered. A lot of the basketball kids could probably rise. Tony Livingston. What is he playing? Is he playing offensive line in high school right now? How did he fare out this first week?
He played
another
quarterback.
Basketball kid. He played quarterback.
He played quarterback. He was pulled. I think he wants to play offensive line. I think the Gators are trying to figure out where exactly his spot is going to be. But if memory serves me right, he quarterback for the first quarter of their game against, I think they played against Blake High School. And was pulled after the first.
We can't have our offensive tackles playing quarterback in high school. That's a crazy development right there.
Yeah. It's just
I heard some. I've seen some position changes, but that's
not a normal position change. And you think they're running the option?
But imagine you're like a pass rusher, and I don't mean he plays for.
If he's
King
running
High
option,
School.
he can pull.
I don't know much about King or Blake High School here in Tampa, but I can imagine that they don't have huge players on their team, and I can only imagine like a 220-pound defensive lineman break in and trying to go and
just trucking
tackle
everybody.
a 6'6", 265-pound quarterback.
He's just trucking over
What a
kids in
world.
private league football. I like it.
I agree with you. I think that CJ Hawkins is going to climb the list. Nick, I know that Rivals has him ranked as a 4-star, but I think Nick Evers is going to climb that list as well. I just think that he's a guy that is talented. I think he's going to continue to get better. His aura about him continues to grow. He's an active guy. He's a recruiter. So I think, as you get your name out there, there's more attention on you. More attention on you means more film watching. And I think that that's just kind of the nature of how some of this business works sometime. And then EJ Lightsey is a guy that I think is going to climb up to a 4-star as well. I think that he's super talented. I think that he's underranked as a 3-star out of Georgia, guy that committed the Gators last week. So I think that he's a guy that's going to climb the rankings as well. So.
Can we give the Evers family heritage recruiting list? Have them recruit whoever we're trying to get.
I'm telling you, they're trying to get your boy Walter Nolan.
I see. I like it.
It seemed like there was a lot of either retweeting but subtweeting yesterday, at Nolan. That's a kid that I don't know when he's gonna commit, but that's a kid that like could swing an entire recruiting class. You get kids saying, "Yo, I want to play with him." So if he's gonna come to Florida, you'll take it whenever, but you'd rather him do it now, do it soon.
Right.
But going back to Evers, where's he rated, Dan?
On y'all's website, he's ranked as a 4-star. Let me just go back to it. I think he's a 5.8 4-star.
Quarterback rankings are kind of weird to me. Like he goes out to the opening, has a great time there. I don't know why the opening does like a half of your grade is your junior highlights. But I was expecting a little bit of a bump. I like it. I like his throwing motion. I think he gets the ball out quick. I think he's accurate. He's an exciting one to watch. And if he comes along with Evan Stewart too, that'd be a huge bust, huge move for Florida.
Yeah, if they could get Shamar, you got Evers, you get Nolan, Evan Stewart. That's a good anchor to this class. This class is insane with those 4 anchoring it down. But they got two obvious big guys they gotta land, and the further it goes, the longer it goes, the less confident I feel with this staff. Let's just keep it a buck.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah, he is ranked as the 199th overall player on Rivals, the number 5 dual quarterback, number 35 player in the state of Texas.
See this, so that's why I thought after how well he did in the opening, I was like, I thought that I think he did get a bump, but not to where I thought he would. Or I don't think he's rated where he should be rated.
Yeah, I think he ends up somewhere between like maybe 120 and 150. I think, I don't know where the other quarterbacks are ranked. He'll probably end up as the number 3 or number 4 dual threat quarterback, and I think it's well deserved. We'll watch him obviously this season, see how he does. But when he's needed to at camps and at the Elite 11 and everything else, he's really showed out. And a lot of those camps limit his ability to run as well. So I think that he's going to be a guy that puts up pretty good numbers, and he's a guy that you want in this class. Like you were talking about, Silk, the Evers, family, including Nick Evers, taking a huge recruiting, burden on their shoulders, going after Walter Nolan, Evan Stewart, and the rest of the guys. So what you need, and that's what you want out of your quarterback. And it's been good to see a vocal quarterback. It's been a while since the Gators have had a truly vocal quarterback in one of their classes. Emory Jones was relatively quiet. Anthony Richardson, same way. So it's been a while. What was the last quarterback that was truly like that alpha?
It wasn't Skyler Morningweg because he was supposed to bring Jalen Ramsey along with him, and he didn't. But even like Will Greer was quiet.
Yeah,
I can't remember. Maybe Tebow. Is anyone since then?
Well, I don't think Tebow. Tebow was just different. Social media was different. I'm sure Tebow was that guy, at the Army game and everything else. But I'm thinking, in the social media world, Treon Harris, not really. Jeff Driscoll, not really. Emory,
a lot of those guys didn't get
Franks
into
maybe, but
a lot of them didn't get into late, so we didn't have the opportunity for those guys to really recruit for us. Even you think Jacoby Brissett. Like the guys over the years, Trayon, like most of those guys signed on right before signing day or right at signing day, so we didn't get the opportunity.
Emory was a flip on signing day, right?
Right.
Well, hey, we used to do the Nick Washington Recruiter of the Year award. I think the Evers entire family is running away with it.
Yeah, we just got to give them.
We'll just bring that over to Stadium and Gale, Nick.
Bring it on over.
Yeah, we'll make a trophy and all.
If you want a trophy company and you want to sponsor the award, we'll be handing it out. We can do that now.
We sure can.
That would have made Nick Evers ineligible before he ever got to Florida for a $50 piece of plastic.
That's right. All right, let's see. In other news, Silk 561 check-in. Kyer Elam, preseason All-American, according to the Associated Press. Another honor to his record. Going in as a guy that's obviously highly ranked, highly hyped, and rightfully so. So
Ready to play some football, man. It's Spoke to Pops. They ready to go, man. Ready to see who's playing beside him. But yeah, 5-6-1 is ready to do what he got to do. Shut down some things. You know how we do it up here.
I do. And then in other news, the Gators, 247 put out a list of their potential preseason all freshman team. Jason Marshall makes that list, surprisingly, as one of the two cornerbacks joining that roster. Are you surprised that nobody else made that list? Obviously, none of us are surprised Jason Marshall made that list. Or do you expect any other freshmen to potentially be up for any of the freshman lists this season?
Yeah, I guess kind of go by buzz and recruiting, right? So Jason Marshall's a 5-star recruit. And then there's some camp buzz. He got on campus early, so I can see how he made it. Collier was also highly recruited, but there's not a whole lot of buzz on that end. So it's just like buzz and recruiting is what they base this off of.
It's also going to be opportunity. Especially with Jaden Hill going down, like Jason Marshall's not just buzz and where he was in terms of recruiting ranking, he's going to have a huge opportunity now to play and start. And I just don't when I look at Florida's roster, like I don't know what other freshman will have that opportunity as much as him. So I don't know if he'd probably be the only one I would put on a preseason. That's what when we get into talking about that, I'm wondering because we can save that for the tight ends, but he's one that could.
Burke, I've been some Burke smoke out there as well.
Yeah, but the way Florida throws the
ball. Shout out to 904. Barry's probably glowing right now. I know he's blushing.
Yeah, he's about to put one of those tweets with his face in that Wells Fargo building again.
I got his clock out.
The way that Florida throws the ball, you might get the leading receiver might have 25 catches, and you might have 7 guys on the team with 8 guys on the team with double-digit catches, 20 catches.
Well, how much production you got to make to make the freshman All-American list?
That might be right. 25 might be like 25, 40.
Nick, I can promise you if Marcus Burke has 25 catches this season, he's making every preseason or every freshman list ever created.
All right. Well, I don't think Marcus Burke's going to be on the freshman list.
Do you have any other potential names to look out for to watch?
I think Jason Marshall's that guy. No, I think he's the only one. I think Florida's got some redshirt freshmen like Trevez and Mordecai and guys like that, but no true freshmen.
Do they? But I think they count. No,
I don't think so. Last year was weird because I think last year was weird because you do think redshirt? I don't think redshirt count.
I think they do, Nick, because it's their first full year playing. I don't know. Somebody prove Nick wrong. That's what this podcast has been about recently.
That's what we've turned it into.
Shout out to Adam Lewis. He
Jeremy Crawshaw might be a guy then if we're talking about redshirt.
I don't think so.
Come on.
I don't think so, Nick. Yeah, I'm looking at the list now. We're talking about opportunity. Maybe if you have a long snapper, our commitment 6-star long snapper, Rocco Under makes it, but I don't think that's like a position that they do. But I could be wrong.
Trying to think. What other freshmen, man? I think Elks and Burke are my guys right now. I would say. I don't think anybody else. I'm sorry, they're gonna get a lot of tick. I don't think you need a whole lot of stats, though. I didn't get glowing praises from Dan Mullen on Desmond Watson today, so I'm not too excited. I was going to say his name, but I don't know how many snaps he get.
No,
too much beef jerky.
Too much beef jerky. Spence messed him up.
So
he's on a diet, and Spence ain't helping. Every coach that we talk to, whether it's been publicly or privately, every time you ask about him, just harps on his weight, and it seems like one of those things like, Ethan White. Everyone was talking about him when he first got here, but there was no way he was going to play his freshman year. So I think Watson might be he's definitely going to redshirt this year, I think, and you might only see him in those 3-4 games.
I need
I
to
don't mind
know.
seeing him clog some shit up every now and then. Just put him out. He's 400 pounds, bro. He's probably hard just to move.
Clogs
He's
the
got
toilet, clogs
to be
everything.
out there in goal, right?
Has to be.
Maybe. Bro, give him the ball on offense on the goal line. Some big refrigerator Perry vibes.
Yeah, man, I want the crowd to start saying big meat too. You know how they say moose, like the Cowboys used to have the moose thing, we just big
Yeah.
meat. Just give him some carries real quick.
He
you
lifts up his jersey, just has a big meat shirt on there.
Right?
Could you imagine 90,000 people shouting big meat as a 400-pound fullback comes onto the field on the goal line?
I
And
can
then
see Silk being
and
in
then
there.
Mick says pause.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I can just hear the entire crowd going, "Big meat." Silk going, "Pause." Big meat. Pause. Big meat. Pause.
That might be the greatest moment in college football history if it happened.
You
For
think it would
Spencer, at least.
replace?
For Spencer.
Yeah, you think it would replace "Don't Back Down" as a future memory for us for the next 4 years, 5 years?
No, maybe it'll be a halftime thing. Not the third
Yeah,
quarter.
I don't see that catching.
I can see it. I'll be at the UF Tennessee game, so I'll make sure I go ahead and get it started.
No, here. It'll be just be Dan yelling big meat from section 19. Who is that down there?
I get pulled over by security. Being, excuse me, sir. There's
Oh,
Yeah, watch
there
your
it
right
goes.
there, right?
There it
There we
goes.
go. I'm getting too excited and celebrating here. Get pulled over by security. Being, excuse me. There's a lot of people around here that are uncomfortable with you screaming "big meat."
Scaring the kids.
Man. If that happens, they definitely have to make Spencer Mr. Jeebles for sure. All right, boys. In other news, let's talk scrimmage. The second and last scrimmage happened yesterday on Sunday. Lots of discussion about the second team. Still some positive things that we're hearing about Nick Elksness. Some positive things that we're hearing about Anthony Richardson. But boys, what else did you hear from scrimmage?
What am I hearing? I heard a whole lot of. I heard the interceptions are down.
Okay.
And I also heard. I don't think that's any surprise. But I also heard like a scramble, a big run from Emory. So if he was allowed to run around in this scrimmage and not sit in the pocket, the interceptions may be down. But I heard it was just one interception. Not a whole lot of news, man.
Yeah.
That's
Rotated
the
the
whole
other
thing.
by that corner on Bowman. Of course, got some clips that leaked out, and I'm hearing that Bowman's explosive. A lot of that talk, but just not a whole lot.
It's. I feel like a lot of people are talking about. Maybe it's people's notes. They're putting out that Emery's throwing a lot of picks or he's inaccurate. But I think you're really trying to get him to stay in the pocket and force stuff. So like, hey, the lane was open. You shouldn't have thrown that ball, but we're making you sit here and do it. And then
Right.
someone will say, hey, he threw 5 picks, and you're like, all right, well, how many of them would he have run for 15
taken
yards
off.
instead of trying to throw that ball? So I think with him, it's going to be a wait and see. The only accuracy issues I'm concerned with, like he's got a big arm, he's going to run. It's those intermediate passes. I've probably said it 2 or 3 times, but those balls that Kyle Trask was money on last year that just either move the chains or keep you ahead of the chains, give you second and manageable, third and manageable. They don't have to be huge, but that's where I think we need to see the biggest growth from Emory. And then I think the biggest thing, it might not sound cool, but the biggest thing that happened was you didn't have an injury. This time last year, second fall scrimmage, you lose your starting center basically for the year because Ethan White only played in 4 or 5 games last year, missed the entire first half of the season. So I almost thought maybe they wouldn't even do a second scrimmage just to try to avoid injuries. But that's a huge thing to not have anybody go down 12 days before the game.
Right. That also that's a plus for sure. But this staff has been known not to have physical camps. We've seen them come out the Miami game, not being able to tackle, a little sloppy on defense. So I think like them not having a physical camp is a part of it. One thing about Emory, I do want to say, I like a lot of times going to new quarterbacks when they're like just so inexperienced, you don't know what to expect. Emory's been in a big game situation, so I'm not like worried about a nervous Emory or him trying to do too much and press. He's experienced. He's made some big throws, played in some big moments already. Um, camp rumors. Everybody's excited about AR. I get it. But I'm excited to see Emory play. I think Emory's gonna have a good fall and just sell off into the NFL. I'm not terribly worried about any interceptions or anything like that from Camp. I know Dan's gonna cater the game around his skill set, and it's gonna look different when it's time when the bullets start flying. And Emory's got experience.
Have you said that before? That you think this is one and done for Emory this year?
I have said that, and I do think he's one and done. I think he plays well enough to get to sell off into the sunset.
Let me ask you guys your thoughts here. Knowing that we don't know what we'll see out of Emory Jones or Anthony Richardson this year, do you think that this is Emory's only year as the quarterback at Florida? So, I know you think that he might go to the NFL, but do you think if maybe he doesn't have a great season that this might be his only year just in general?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for him to come back and play. To be honest with you, go ahead, Nick.
Like, how long do you keep are you worried? Are you worried about Anthony transferring? I mean, he's a hometown kid, but you're gonna get tired of sitting and waiting. I think Emory could have like 3 years if because they haven't even posted his
theoretically
free COVID year last year. So I mean, Anthony Richardson ain't gonna wait around for until 2025.
Right.
I think he's just gonna develop and just be too much to handle to keep off the field regardless. So I think he's one and done, but I think Emory's just going to have a good enough fall to go into the league. I think him being able to move around, do some mobile things that they like these quarterbacks do these days. He got a big arm. I just think he's gone. We'll see.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think that this is Emory Jones 1 year. I think that if this is not the year that he makes the strides that a lot of people think that he can, that I think that, Anthony Richardson sitting there is a guy that I think the floor is really high on. And then you have to look back at, Emory, being through his 4th year at the program, and if he's struggling, and I'm not saying that he is, I mean, this is all hypotheticals, and if he's struggling, do you then move on to your next guy if after 4 years still not able to put it together as a highly ranked 4-star and the guy that Dan Mullen, specifically wanted when, he joined the Florida Gators staff. So definitely be interesting to see.
It still caught me off guard because it's like, man, Emory's waited so long, but like if you played bad enough this year, like if he plays bad enough to get benched, maybe he transfers. I just wouldn't. Until Silk said that, I didn't even think about the possibility of him transferring. Him going to the NFL seems like more plausible than that.
Right. Especially, guy, you see Franks just made a roster. Like Franks is gonna make the Falcons roster and be in the NFL a long time. I think, like, regardless, he just needs a good season. I think his skill set is good enough for him to go play in the NFL if he has a good season. But some of these guys has got to play now, right? Like there's too much talent and too much like highly recruited guys that got to get on the field. And you got to get some production out of them. We don't land 5-stars that often, so like Bowman on the bench, right? I think Bowman need to get carries. If not, he plays 1 year next year and he's gone. You get what use did you get out of a 5-star?
Yeah,
he got to play now. Like I don't see you holding weapons and letting them learn plays. You got guys that are explosive and are like difference makers. Like this is a kid we put a lot of resources in on the get-go, like originally recruiting him. So guys like that, we need to get on the field right now. We can't be catering to emotions and egos and seniority shit. I think we need to play the explosive kids right now.
And that's the only way you're gonna get the explosive kids, right?
Right. They got to see it.
That was a sermon. I just said amen at the end of that, Silk. I got nothing to add.
I can't see Bowman keep breaking on these little clips and we're gonna play shot at Damian Pierce or shot at Malik. We seen what those guys could do, we seen one guy breaking a lot of big runs in camp. And we just keep saying that leaked out. I know a lot of people want to see Bowman, but like he's highly touted. A guy that we got to transfer from Clemson. We need to put him on the field and see some shit. Punt return, kick return. Put him at slot receiver, put him at quarterback, wildcat. I don't care how you put the ball in his hands. Just get it to him and tell him to go to the end zone.
Almost like like Percy Harvin's freshman year.
Yeah.
They just kind of put him everywhere. They would hand him the ball off. He'd be in the slot, out wide, punt return. Just if you got a kid that can do stuff like that, like DeMarcus has shown, like you said, so just figure it out. Doesn't matter where.
Florida did that with Percy Harvin. They also did it with Jared Faison, right? He was an explosive guy. He ends up transferring to Illinois, going to the NFL. But, they did it with him. These are guys that you just need on the field to make plays, get them the ball in space, allow them to make plays, and you have to get creative. Greg Knox, if you're listening, what Silk's saying is he doesn't want you to wait until Samford, third quarter, halfway through for DeMarcus Bowman to get 15 carries,
That's facts, Mr. Knox.
Shout out to Greg Knox, who was fired 3 years ago. He's got.
Man, his room is elite. You got maybe the second best room on campus. The kid, he just what's the recruit he got from 2023 class? He's like a 5-star son.
Yeah, he's 5 stars, the number 1 ranked running back in the country.
Whoa. 3, 2, 1. Greg, do your thing, my guy.
Oh, man.
Make sure we edit that out.
In other news, I heard from a few folks, Kyer Elam did not play. I think a couple other defensive linemen didn't play either.
The offensive line, too.
Zach Carter didn't play. I think what happened, you're starting to see who some of the starters are. And where I was going with that is I was talking to somebody earlier today, told me that Trey Dean and Rashard Torrance both did not play. So I'm wondering if those are your two new, starting safeties, two guys that we talked a lot about on this show. But that second safety position was something that we debated hotly. And, Rashard Torrance doesn't play. I think that might have solidified his second spot. Again, conjecture, but I think that may have just been taken by Rashard Torrance.
I like my safeties. I like Rashard Torrance last year. He needed to show some growth. I think he's going to do this thing. Been hearing that he's having a good camp as well as Dean.
Yeah.
So, I like it. If Elam wasn't playing, they just rotated the corners. Both spots were just rotating. Then, I like it.
So Avery Helm, Jason Marshall. You're probably your first two guys off the bench.
Yeah, I think Avery Helm is probably your starter across from Kyer. And then I think Jason Marshall's right after him. And then I guess we'll see what Perkins and Blades and how they fit in. But I'd almost all right, put the best 11 on the field. But I'd almost rather see Jason Marshall, someone who I'm really high on, than a guy like Blades is only going to be here a year. It's like, hey, get the freshman. If he can play and he's not, hurting you on the field, let him play now and get that experience for the next 2 years too.
Yeah, what I'm hearing about Marshall is like talent-wise, when Edom is out on the field, he's the most talented guy in the secondary, probably as far as skill set. But they worried about playing the SEC game, fatigue, getting tired. Mentally, is he prepared to play in a full SEC game and carry? Because you don't have any experience with that, so that's the only thing they're concerned about. Because you hit walls in camp as far as fatigue, as far as freshmen and all that stuff. So that's the only concern they have with my man Marshall right now.
And
other than that, he's a dog.
You can't simulate that. You're going to find out how he handles it when Alabama comes
it's
in
a concern.
His first SEC game.
Right, it's just a concern because they know how freshmen operate. So other than that, they think he looks great.
Nick, want to mention this is one area where we don't know who the starters are. Break us down. Special teams, punter, kicker. Break it down.
Well, Dan Mullen today. You can tell we're getting close to the season because Dan swerved every question. There were no details. He started talking about
every week. What do you mean?
He started talking about punters that I don't know. Sorry, no disrespect. Didn't know these guys were on the team. He said every punter was flipping the field. Every punter was great. But I think it's going to be Jeremy Crawshaw. They call him Jezzy, which I think is a nickname for Jeremy, or it's just an Australian thing. But
that's a strange nickname, yeah.
Jezzy, Australian thing, eh?
Jezzy.
It's got to be an Australian thing. If you're listening and inform us. He's going to be the starter, and I think when you look at the kicking battle, I think it has to be Jace Christman.
Yep.
It's the guy that has a ton of experience. Chris Howard's a redshirt senior, but really doesn't have that experience. He's kind of just been Evan McPherson's backup. And when you're talking about a kicker, you not only do you want someone who can kick off for you, but you want someone who's you're going to be in pressure situations. And if you got a redshirt senior who's got 3 field goal attempts in 5 years, you're not going to feel as comfortable with him as a redshirt senior who's been starting for 3 years at an SEC school.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something that hasn't been talked about as much. Probably for obvious reasons. It's not as sexy, but Florida replacing a lot of experience, a lot of production back in the in special teams is going to leave Florida in a unique situation where Florida's had a great kicker for the last 7-8 years now. They've had good punting. That leaves, and you saw, no offense to the kid, but when Austin Hardin had those, that bad season or bad season and a half, what that can mean to your team. But shout out to Austin for his kick against FAU.
What do we feel? I just like to get straight to the nuts and bolts. I don't have really kicker takes. I just want to know if we're gonna make field goals and flip the field for real. Not no Dan talk, Nick. What we got?
No, it's. I think you're gonna be frustrated with the punting because the kid can boom it. But I think you might get some shanks. He's really been playing football for 11 months. His first football game was in orange and blue last year. So it's just a young kid who's going to make some mistakes.
So you think Dan's deflecting?
I think there might be some deflecting. But he's got a leg. He can flip the field, but you might get a shank.
So he's deflecting from the kicker and the quarterback right now, you think?
No, I think Jace Christman's the kicker. And Dan's just not ready to say it. Dan wouldn't even tell you who the water boy is right now. They're secrets.
What do you think is the reason for that? Put yourself in a psychological position of not naming kickers.
I don't understand. What's the competitive advantage you're getting by not naming your kicker, your starting kicker? There isn't one.
I mean, everybody knows, right? You get a transfer that's one of the all-time leading scorers of Mississippi State.
There's no team late at night worried about who your starting kicker may be. I promise you that.
Nah, not a single one.
I don't know if a strategy behind it, besides him just being a prick to the media.
Yeah, that one was funny. The funny one today was the punters. He started naming kids who I think are chemistry majors.
He starts making up names.
Oh, you just don't know.
Just to see you guys flip through the roster.
Right.
They might not even be on the team. He just started naming random names.
Nick,
I don't get that.
Are you surprised that Dan Mullen knows walk-on kickers by name?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Is that foreshadowing then?
No. No. I don't understand.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I don't understand why you would be coy with those two positions. If you don't want to talk about who the starting quarterback is, a lot of people do that.
Everybody knows who the starting quarterback is. He's ranked in the Heisman rankings, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
It's just Dan being Dan.
Yeah. It's a Dan thing. You just won't understand, Nick.
I don't.
Nick Elksness, I'm here, is still doing well. A lot of reps for the 2s, 3s, and 4s. I know that Naquan Wright, Lorenzo Lingard, and DeMarcus Bowman all had good days yesterday as well. DeMarcus Bowman had a highlight that made it onto Twitter, I believe, on a long run. So, lots of excitement, and he's continuing to do well. But it's my understanding that DeMarcus Bowman is your number 3 running back right now. So with all of that being said, let's give a shout out to a new sponsor, Game Time Sidekicks. Visit them at GameTimeSidekicks.com. Use promo code STADIUM to get 10% off your entire order. So Game Time is an officially licensed stainless steel drinkware brand started back in 2015 to bring you the best collegiate drinkware. Think Yetis, things of that nature, to fans all over the country. Stainless steel, vacuum insulated tumblers. You're not going to find a better performing drink hardware. They have over 350 schools, multiple colors, logos, colors, a lot of different options for the Florida Gators, a lot of PGA Tour things, NFL branded things as well. Check out GameTimeSidekicks.com. Use promo code STADIUM. Get 10% off your entire order. Nick has a bunch of their product. Fantastic stuff. So again, GameTimeSidekicks.com, promo code STADIUM. All right, guys, let's get into some position battles, and then we're going to get into some callers here in a bit. So I want to go to you first. I want to talk a little bit about tight end rotation. The Gators have 5 tight ends on their roster that are scholarship. You've heard of Keon Zipperer, Kamori Gamble, Nick Elksnis. You have Odom, and you have the Tampa boy whose name's escaping me right now. I'll get in here in a second, but you have a 5 tight end rotation or 5 tight end room. How do you guys think that shakes out? Who do you think gets the most catches? Who do you think gets the most snaps? And who do you think is the biggest surprise? Gage Wilcox, there it is.
I like the two. I like that Zipper. Coming out of Lakeland, I didn't know if Zipper was ever going to be like a blocker. I thought he might be like an H-back. But he was a super willing blocker last year. Obviously, Kamori Gamble's blocking has gotten a lot better. I think those two were like good stories when Kyle Pitts got hurt in the Georgia game. But then you look at the Cotton Bowl and like dropping a bunch of passes. So I think they'll start the season. But as soon as Nick Elksnis, to me, starts showing that he's ready, like Silk talked earlier, as a freshman, mentally ready, physically ready, and that he can play the position, I think he's another guy that just, if you're looking at offensive weapons, he just is so dynamic for your team, or has the potential to be so dynamic that I feel like the other two guys might just be like placeholders until Nick Elksnis, figures it out.
I like Gamble get the most snaps.
Okay.
I go Gamble, the oldest guy. I think it's the safest bet. We bet with this staff. So I go Gamble. Second, I go Keon Zipper, and then I'll go Elksnis.
Okay.
Who
do you think? So you've got Kamori Gamble with the most snaps. Who do you think gets the most catches? Gamble still?
Nah. I'm going to go Zipper with most catches.
Yeah.
How about that?
And Nick, I don't know if I heard you. Who did you have with most snaps and then most catches?
I think Gamble will have the most snaps and catches, but I think just because I think it'll take Nick Elksnis a little while to get going. But I think by the end of the year, he'll probably be getting more targets than them. It'll just take too long for him to get the most catches. So Gamble with the most catches, most starts. But I don't
know what they draw for Zipper every time, but he's just always wide ass open.
That's true. He should be moved around more too. Like he's done well playing with his hand on the ground, but you can flex him out. You can do some weird stuff with him. Put him some other places.
Yeah. I just think that's why he's the most diverse one out of the bunch. He can do a lot, so I think he gets the most targets and catches just for that reason.
Yeah, no, I would agree that I think Keon Zipper is going to get the most catches. I think that he's also going to get the most snaps, not by many, but I think that he improved as a blocker. I think Kamori Gamble is going to get a lot of playing time. I mean, I think it's going to be kind of 1A, 1B. But I think Keon Zipper improved quite a bit as a blocker as the season went on. And then, another year in the weight room to add some size to his body. But I think that he's a threat. And when I think of what Florida is going to want to do this year, replacing Pitts and Tony and their offense from last season, Grimes, I think that they're just going to go mismatch heavy, and I think that Keon Zipper is a massive mismatch, whether he lines up as a tight end and goes out on a seam, or whether he lines up as a slot guy. I think that Florida is going to throw a lot of weird positional setups out there that really keep defenses on their toes this year. I think that that's how Florida does this season. replacing that production.
A lot of two. I keep going back, and I think we're going to see a lot of two tight end sets, a lot of two running back sets. So it'll be interesting. I like your take though, Dan. Like that. I mean, a two tight end set. And I think you got one blocking, and then like Silk said, all of a sudden zippers, 15 yards and in quarantine, as Mick would say.
Going back to just a quick, Avery Helm got just a quick little nugget. Adding weight, 6'1", 185 pounds, 3% body fat. So Avery Helm's putting in the work. So it's a shout out to him.
He's a freak. They had him. So they do like combines for the younger kids right after like Florida's pro day. So they do like a pro day for the younger guys. And I think they had him at like a 42-inch vert. And they clocked him at 4.38. I don't know if that was hand or laser.
Yeah, he's a track kid, so he's gonna test crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's explosive. I'll be interested to see him play this year. But yeah, he's measurables off the charts there.
All right, I want to get into kind of a unique position battle because it's not really a position; it's a person, and that's replacing Kadarius Toney. Want to ask, what would you guys do? So the Gators are replacing Kadarius Toney, obviously Grimes. They're replacing Pitts, replacing a lot of offensive production. So give me your breakdown about how you figure out the production with the loss of a guy like a Kadarius Toney.
Bo knows football. Bo knows football. You get Bo to football, bro. I think Kadarius is just a playmaker. You got to find a way just to get the ball in his hands. Bowman can catch out the backfield. He can line up and slot, do some different things. Give him some jet sweeps. I don't hear any excuses about the playbook. Just get the ball in his hands and let him do what he do. Bo knows.
If you want to win, let Bowman spin.
Oh,
I don't think that's
going to catch on.
Yeah, you're not on the marketing
Friday
team.
Night Lights?
Yeah.
I missed Friday Night Lights.
I know. It just
so now we've got to deal with copyright infringement. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous.
I mean,
Nick's looking at student council ads for DeMarcus Bowman.
So not good.
No, just keep working on it. Just come back next week. All right, Nick, you're replacing Kadarius Toney. What do you do? Doesn't have to necessarily be his replacement as a position, but what do you do to try to deal with his loss of production?
Well, I think I like what Silk said. Bo knows, but it wasn't just his production. It was last year it was a team focused on Kyle Pitts, and then Kadarius Toney goes off, and then next week it's all right. Well, we got to focus on Toney, and now it opens up for somebody else. In terms of production and a similar, athlete, I think Bowman. But I think it takes, it's going to take more than one player to kind of fill that production and fill those shoes.
Yeah. So you just have to name some names, Nick.
Bowman. I said Bowman. That's the only one.
I think there's a couple guys. I think you can mix it up. I don't think it has to be. I mean, you want it to be somewhat like do some of the things that KT did. I think we can always make up the production other ways. Like Dan's gonna find a way to move the ball and pick up production, but to do some similar stuff that Kadarius did with some of the jet sweeps, and he just got better with as a route runner his last year and was so polished. So that's gonna be hard to make up. But we got receivers. I think to add that dynamic of somebody that can that you got to account for if they go in motion and for defense to lose they sleep about. I think Bowman's that guy.
Yeah. Who do you guys have as the Gators kind of bubble screen or end around guy?
There's probably a couple. Obviously, Bowman. I mean, Trent Whittemore's a guy you can do some of that stuff with, whether it's out of the slot. I want to see some of that. If we're going back to tight ends too, those little like shovel passes to the tight ends that we've seen.
That Aaron Hernandez. Yeah.
There was some mentions of that to Elks in scrimmage as well. Or he took one for like 30 yards.
So there's just a bunch of guys that can get into that mix. I'm excited about Trent Whittemore. he's a guy that I think can do that. Xavier Henderson's a guy that, hey, with his speed, hand him the ball, get the ball in his hands however you can. So, yeah, they've got a couple guys, but obviously we're going to keep going back to Bowman. Lorenzo Lingard, too. I think he's right now the forgotten one in that running back room.
Right.
Try to get him the ball, too. I mean, he can scoot.
Yeah, he's actually higher on the depth chart, and I heard he's having a good camp as well. I think he scooted for one, did some read action stuff with, I think, Emory or AR, but I know he had a good run as well. He's a guy that also could pick up some production.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think that the biggest thing, just answering my first question, I think that the Gators are going to replace it just by mismatching more than anything. I mean, we talked a little bit about, the reason a reason why Kadarius Toney really showed out last year was the threat of Kyle Pitts and the threat of Trevon Grimes. So I think that what the Gators do this year is they don't have that proven threat, is really do mismatches. And that's where I think that you see a lot of dual running back, dual tight end, kind of some weird, positions or some players in maybe some different positions, maybe a tight end in the slot, or maybe you have one of your bigger guys in the slot and maybe a shiftier guy outside. I think you're going to see a lot of creativity this year. This may be just because of the weapons that Florida has, the types of weapons, and then some of the mismatches where you have guys like an Elksness that can run, a guy like Gamble that has proven to be a bit of a threat, Keon Zipper, and then you have your tall wide receivers. I mean, we've mentioned it a bunch of times how tall and lengthy these guys are a wide receiver. So I think you see some really interesting mismatches, and I think that that's how Florida is able to replace some of that production. And then you guys named all the names for that other slot. Or not slot, pardon me, the bubble screen or the end around type of guy. So I'm excited to see DeMarcus Bowman be that guy. He's a guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield, and you put a couple of big guys out there to open up some holes for him. And I think that you can see him take it to the house. He's a home run hitter. You see it in practice highlights. You've heard about it since he was a freshman or a sophomore in high school. So those are the kind of guys that we need. So looking forward to hearing that. So we haven't done this in a while. We're going to get into some more position talk, but we want to get on some callers onto the show. So let's bring some on. Man, oh man. We're just going to everybody introduce themselves because it's just a little bit easier. Just drop your name and Twitter handle and everything else, and let's hang out for a bit.
You muted, my boy.
You got me now? We're good.
Yeah, we got you, bro.
All right, yeah, it was Valen.
Yep.
Okay, Rico_Suave03 on Twitter. Call me Rico, whatever. Hanging out with the boys. See my boy Nick in Vegas. Good to see him.
He hoarse and all, bro. You know you had a good time.
I already know it.
Bro, I'm on the injury report. I was doubtful, but I showed up. We're playing.
It's all good. Hey, we'll be down the road soon.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, well, we're gonna tailgate Val in a couple weeks, my dude.
Yeah, so I saw you put out you're gonna be at Balls or
Yeah. I'm bringing Nick to Balls. There it is.
So pull up.
I don't know if I could be able to pull up that week, but we'll see what's up. I'm gonna get up there for one of these games. I gotta bring my son to a game. I'm not sure which one, but I'm gonna get up there. I think Bama's gonna be too much. I can't take him to Bama game. I want to make sure I take him to a W. You feel me?
Maybe like Vandy. Homecoming's Vandy, so maybe Vandy.
There you go.
Yeah, I may take him to Vandy. Shout out to Hicks. Me and Hicks gonna be trying to figure something out for one of these home games, man. I'm trying to get my shoes on the soil of the grass somehow. We'll see if we can happen on Ben Hill.
Yeah, do that for sure.
What you feeling with the season, man?
Man, to be honest, bro. So I've been thinking about. I've listened to so many podcasts now, dog. It's getting crazy. But I got good energy, man. I'll be honest. I think that we talk about the whole Emory situation and him not starting or whatever, but I think that we're still overlooking the fact that having a dual threat quarterback and what he can do whenever defenses don't know that he's already going to run. You know what I'm saying? Like, we put him in there last 2 years, and we already knew he's running right, running left. But when he's able to open up the field with a pass, that means that 10-yard run that he made last year will be 30. You know what I'm saying? Because his defense is going to be spread out trying to cover the receivers. As long as we make sure that our receivers are being a threat, which I think Copeland and X are primed for their big years. I think we got something crazy. I think our running backs will finally get off a little bit. I'm still hesitant about the Pierce. Um, Pierce and Davis as far as being our lead backs. I wish Davis could get back into his freshman form, but I'm not really concerned about the offense, to be honest. I got Dan Mullen as my quarterback.
You're not concerned about the offensive line at all? Not even a little bit?
Yeah. I'm saying that as a whole. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's an assumption by everybody. So that's just a known.
I was concerned about the offensive line last year, and we were still able to put up crazy numbers. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, it's going to be a different offense and stuff like that. But I still got Dan Mullen as my offensive coordinator and my coach. So I'm still worried about the defense, to be honest. And I'm worried about. I know we got the D line's looking good. Got to stay healthy. I'm kind of just the middle of that defense. I know we got Ventrell, but when you get into that star position and that next linebacker. You know, I want to see how that's going to work itself out because I'm not sold on it yet. So.
Bro, Valen was doing 95 on the Lying Highway, and you slashed his tires with that O-line question.
Hey, man, got to keep it, he's saying everything hunky-dory. We got a little – I think the offensive line is going to determine everything for Emory because we need a run game.
Mm-hmm.
So last year we just depended on Cal to pitch it around the yard a million times. This is not Emory's skill set. So this offensive line is going to have to create some space in the run game. We're playing 11 on 11, so that's fun. That should help the offensive line out a little bit numbers-wise. But all this is depending on the offensive line, in my opinion.
So you think, all right, so say we go back to – when was it we played Mississippi State? That was 2018?
First year, 2018.
2018, right? So I think about when the offensive line was miserable and they had that really good defensive rush – with I think Sweat was there,
right?
Yeah, and all them. So we were running around a quick pitch to the receivers. I think that we might, whenever we get up to like Bama and stuff like that, because what's his name, the linebacker, Will Anderson, it's gonna be hell.
He's a problem.
It's gonna be hell. So I see it being a lot of quick pitch out to the flats, getting the ball in the ball in space and making stuff happen. To spread the defense out so they can't just come straight upfield because, like I said, I still don't know what's going on with that right tackle position. I'm pretty sure 56 is still there. Mm-hmm. I'm at the point now I'm not going to complain no more. Like, it is what it is. We got to roll with the punches. But we got.
I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to complain that he's starting, right? But if he start whiffing, I got some complaints lined up.
All right, Valen, who do you have as a breakout offensive guy, breakout defensive guy? Maybe a surprise name in there as well.
Ooh, so let's see. Offensively, that's not obvious. I think I'm gonna go with Trent.
Okay.
And the reason I'm gonna go with Trent is because I think that even last year he had his sneaky moments where he's a very consistent receiver. And I think that Emory's going to really rely on that person that's able to consistently get open on a down-to-down basis. I think he's going to be able to be the one to get into – I think he'll be in the slot because I don't really see him outside. You got X and Cope on the outside. But I think he's going to be very consistent. He's not going to be big numbers necessary, but I think that kind of like Jake McGee when he was in that 1 year, like he was just getting first downs. I think that he's going to be that type of player.
It's an X-boy.
My guy Jake.
You said what?
That was my guy.
Yeah, right. And then defensively, man, I'd probably go with I think Marshall's gonna have a big year. And not even just in the fact that he's gonna get a lot of burn and he's got Kyrie Elam on the other side. And everything that's been said in the scrimmage notes, I don't read too much into them because I'm not there and stuff like that. And people just want to have a narrative. But he's picking stuff off. You know what I'm saying? He's playing the ball in the air. So I think he's going to get a lot of opportunities. I think that he definitely has a freshman All-American season if he's on the field enough for that.
We were just talking about that earlier in the show, and I think talking about what freshmen we thought could end up on some postseason freshman award lists. And I thought, my only one was Marshall just because of the opportunity he has. When Jaden Hill goes down, I expected Marshall to play anyway, But when he goes down, now there's it's really just Avery Helm and Jason Marshall over there. And obviously Blades and guys like that. But I think the opportunity he has, along with the talent, I agree with you. I think he could have an All-American freshman type of year.
Yeah, and I'm also curious to see what I got Jadarius Perkins.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see how he
from
fits
Missouri.
in. Because I think that he's an older guy. They already like the people that have had experience. He came JUCO, but I think that he has the opportunity to really get in there and make something happen. Whether it be in that slot, like right behind Chavez, which I think in the star position right behind Chavez. I think that he has an opportunity to play, and I think that may be something that may be getting overlooked a little bit. But yeah, man, it's almost like we've been talking about the same stuff over and over. We just need to see the ball get snapped and see what happens.
All right, cool. And then what's your prediction for record and bowl game and all that?
So I see, man. You're not gonna get me to say any losses before the season. That's just me.
Even so,
I'm a fan, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to be politically correct and to be honest. So I can lie and say we going undefeated.
Very good.
But no, I have a lot of confidence in the team, man. I really, only one that I would question, to be honest, is the Bama game, of course, because Bama. I think it's a lot of hype around LSU, which in some ways I can see why, but I still don't. Mm-hmm. That game should have been closed last year. I think if we drag them last year, we're not even talking about this being as much of an L this year. So yeah, I'm confident, man. I'll say possibly one L, but I'm not counting any L's. I just got confidence, man. I'm a fan.
That's 12 days before football season, right? You can't start counting your L's now, right?
Yeah, right.
True.
Hey, look, and if we lose, I'll be in Midtown drinking my pain away.
Yeah. Yeah. All I know is Valen did his job at the game. If the Gators win or lose, he did his job. He showed up.
I'm consistent,
If anything, you're consistent. All right, my guy. We're gonna let you run. I've got a couple other callers coming in, but thanks for hanging out. We're gonna do this a lot more during the season.
All right, fellas, y'all take it easy.
All right, dude.
All right, Val, have a good one, my dude.
Hey, hit me up. We out in town. You know the vibes.
Oh, you know what it will be.
All right, for sure.
Nick's buying some mind erasers for us already.
2 for 1. I'll buy the 2 for 1s.
All right. Everybody knows her.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Here you go. Crystal, you ready? Let's rock and roll.
Wow. Why did you guys have to say it?
Everybody knows you.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Can y'all hear me?
We got you.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Sorry.
All right. Perfect. Welcome to Stadium and Gale. It's been a while.
It has. How are y'all doing? Y'all doing good?
I'm doing beautiful, man. It's 12 days before kickoff. The cushion isn't big,
Yes.
but the vibes is big. The scrimmages went by. We in camp mode. We about to smash Willie Taggart in the FAU Owls. I cannot complain, Chriselle. It's like it's just go time. I'm ready to see this caravan take off.
Hey, I'm right there with you. I'm ready to go.
What you got us? Undefeated? What you got us at? Let's get these lies off.
I want to say undefeated.
So say
but
it.
looking at my
what's stopping you?
being a little bit realistic. So I'm gonna say undefeated, but worst case scenario, like 11-1, honestly.
All right. Who's the loss to Alabama?
Nah, fuck that. We're gonna beat Bama. Full swap.
Bro, Chris shows up with well, I can't go undefeated.
Yeah.
Because we're being realistic.
But we're gonna beat Bama.
But Bama's getting
And they're gonna
railroaded.
overlook some random ass team. I already. But
That's tragic. Like, can you imagine beating Bama then losing to like Tennessee the next week?
no,
Kentucky?
fuck
No,
it.
no,
We can't
no,
lose
no,
to
we
them.
can't do that.
No. I'm not even putting that in the air.
That's what I was thinking. Like, if you got us beating Bama, like any other loss, is probably gonna get Dan Mullen fired.
No.
Like by the fan base,
Nah,
for sure.
On
I'm
Twitter.
saying we
On
going
Twitter,
undefeated. My energy gonna be right there. We going undefeated. Fuck it.
There it is.
No, but our fan base is definitely firing him if we beat Bama and lose to Kentucky or something.
Facts.
I
Facts.
probably not show up on the timeline for at least a couple weeks. If that
You
happens.
know that is the furthest thing from the truth. You will be back on within minutes.
Probably talking shit. Is that what y'all-
Chris, who do you have breaking out? Who do you have on offense? Who do you have on defense?
Offensively, I want to steal fucking balance answer.
You can do it.
Nah. I'm trying to think about breaking out. I do see Trent having a good year this year. But honestly, with him waiting in the wings and not playing last year, I want to see what Lorenzo Lingard does. So I'm gonna put him there for offense, and then defensively, it's gonna be whoever plays opposite of Kyer to me. And I'm gonna agree with Fallon on that one. I think it's gonna be Jason Marshall's gonna have a breakout year this year.
All right. Who are some other names that you like or that you expect? Or who, here's a better question. Who is it this year's like crap or get off the pot, right? Like this is your 1 year, no more chances after this.
Ooh, oh, that's a hard one. Damn, you threw me for a loop.
Mm.
Oh no, I can't really think of anybody that I would say that for, except for he's gonna be gone next year anyways.
Mm.
So I don't know, Dan.
That's
See, this
fine.
is why they don't let women call in the sports talk shows.
Oh,
They're
jeez.
letting the women down. Look, where's Andy? Good call, Andy. She can help you out. Give Andy a call real quick. You gotta have the takes.
Yeah, you gotta have takes. All right, Chris, give us some takes. Get your opinion off. I've been around you. I've seen you many times. You are not this quiet and bashful in real
I'm
life.
not being bashful. I just really don't know who for that question. At least.
All right, then make up your own question and make
I
up your
do
own
think
answer.
the defense is gonna do a lot better this year. I mean, they can't do much worse than what the fuck we did last year, but I do think that now that some of those pieces are gone on the defense that we talked about, the only thing that's holding us back is Todd Grantham is still the defensive coordinator. So it's time to see what those boys really put up.
I think all Todd Heat's about to be on Heavy C's lap this year. That's my take. The year before was Greg Knox. This seat changes a little bit, right? The hot seat.
Yeah.
I think Grantham got the bodies to save him this year. A lot of heat this year. I think that he's going to go transfer to the offensive side of the ball to a particular guy.
Yeah, no, I can see that for sure because, I mean, I've been kind of on the fuck Hevesy train for like 2 years now. So,
That's not an endorsement.
I do agree with that. That he does. I think the the talent that he kind of has in the defense this year is gonna save Hev a little bit. So I'm kind of really excited to see the defense and see what they got to do, what they're gonna do this year. I do like Travis and Torrance, and I'm kind of ready to see what they do back there. And I know our D line is going to be good, so I think defensively it's going to be a lot better than what we had.
For sure.
But
we only could go up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And I think a lot of people like reading and going on social media and stuff and seeing this talk about Emory versus AR and shit. It's like, first, it's Dan. So
What
I'm not going to sit here and question anybody that Dan trusts to put out there.
Oh, very good.
I might a little bit, but I know that he's going to put good product out there. And a lot of people are asleep on Emory for real. So.
Hey, I'm driving the Caravan. You know I ain't sleep, man. He's about to sell out to the NFL. I already told these boys, man.
Hey. I believe it.
All right, Chris. Who do you think? Talk to me. Give me your thoughts on Demarcus Bowman. Do you think he's the Gators' leading rusher this season, or?
Shit, I want them to give him the ball. So, yeah.
Very good. See, these are the opinions that we want. We want you to go out and we want you to say things like that, right? You know, make your opinion known.
No,
Give us an unpopular take you have then.
You know, everything that's happened and stuff. I'm excited to see him play. So I want him out there.
Very good. Very good. All right, Chris, well, we're going to let you go. We got a couple other people that we got to get on, but appreciate you hanging out. We're going to do this a lot more during the season, all right?
All right. Thanks, boys. Y'all have a good night.
Right. We'll see you. All right. Let's see. Mike, you look ready to rock and roll. What's up, dude?
Not much, man. Yourself?
Not much, man. Hey, introduce yourself, drop your Twitter handle, and then let's hang out for a bit.
This is about to be the call right here. Like
this is it. He's not going to be ashamed to get his takes off.
We need takes. This is sports talk, bro. Like this ain't,
So what I'm here for, man. Be hated. No, just getting better here, man. So no, I just want to get your all's opinion on Bama because personally, I'm trolling obviously when I talk to him, but I'm honestly not even worried about that game. I'm more worried about Georgia based on the matchups and the trenches and everything. But Bama hasn't been in this predicament in terms of what they're replacing under the Saban era. They just replaced, but like they have a first-time QB, doesn't weigh 200 pounds. It's his first road start, and he's a first-year starter, obviously. 3 out of 5 new position starters on the O-line, new O-line coach, new OC, who's from the NFL as well. They only have one proven receiver who's not a proven number 1 receiver. And at that, question to tight end with Billingsley, backup tight end, is a former DN. So, not to mention, no one such as the last 2 meetings with Mullen has been 7 points and 6 point deficit. So, please, I'd like to know why we're going to be underdogs. So, other than just the A on the helmet.
Why we're the underdogs?
It'll probably be like a 6.5, 7 point spread. I think
that's appropriate. This is like they're proven. I feel like I've heard this 1,000 times with Bama. Of course, this is the most extreme, right? But I haven't seen enough kinks in the armor in the past when he's had to replace guys. I think they recruit well enough. They develop well enough. Their staff is just the most competent staff as far as getting their players ready. I expect a Nick Saban outfit on that 3rd game.
No, I absolutely give full. Obviously, you have to.
You're right for the picking. This is the right time. I do think this. If you're going to beat them at any time, you want them week 3 with a new quarterback. They play Miami week 1. That's a nice little warm up game for them. But who knows? We get a good look at them. They don't really get a good look at us before week 3. So I do like where we sit in the situation. But yeah, I expect a very good Bama football team to show up week 3, bro, for sure.
Oh no, absolutely. I'm not. Like I said, end of the day, Bama, I have all the respect in the world for them. I just think you're catching them at the perfect time. They're going to put film on King. The little guy himself is going to, end of the day, he's a scrambling quarterback, so it's going to help us out. We got the cute cupcakes. We're not going to have to really put film on there. So, it's not week 7, week 8. Like it's more like what you alluded to. It's going to be week 3. So, right. I'm cooling. I'm with 4 of my buddies. I'm going to be there, and I'm going to roll on the Bam tears.
Hey man, I'm gonna have to pull up. I think you sold me, Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like I was in line for him. I've been lying like
I'm
heavy on this
I'm not
show,
even
but
lying.
I wasn't where you're
lying.
at. I know you feel like I feel that you're being like honest. That you think you're being honest.
You're
sincere.
You're sincere. But it's all factors.
Yeah,
I'm gonna show up to the game now. Like y'all can count. Y'all pencil me in for Bama. I'm pulling up.
I love that from Mike. I troll. Mike goes, I troll, but it comes from facts. This is the most confident Silk has been about Bama. All he needed was Mike Just a little pep talk, and now soaks in.
Yeah.
So I could do Mike pregame, but after we lost on the ride back from Gainesville, it's a bit much, man. Might want to do game breakdowns of stats and like really analyze the game. I just want to just escape and not think about life for like 3 hours. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Bryce's spring tape. I mean, he's gonna be good as hell. But I mean, he's not he's not the king yet. So I mean, he's still young.
So
Who
how
do
you
you
think
have
game?
as-
Go ahead, Dan.
No, go ahead.
So how you think it plays out week 3? How do you foresee us? What do we have to do to beat Bama offensively? I mean, we got a brand new offense. Emery's in charge. We know how Dan Mullen's gonna dive our ass to death. So what do you think? I'm
Don't
ready for
turn the
some
ball
dives.
over. Don't turn the ball over is key. Play to the crowd. Treat like a lot like Auburn, to be honest, because it's going to be most type since Auburn. You know, Gator fans have been looking forward to this game for years. It's been marked down. But the biggest thing, like I said, you got a first-year quarterback at the Swamp. That's a recipe for disaster. So ask Bo Nix. I mean, just force a turnover, and just our defense, our D line, our worst case top 3 to 5 in the country. It's highly underrated. People aren't going to like it, but Grantham is going to have a really good season because he has the correct pieces. There's a reason the NFL wanted him. He's almost making $2 million. He's flawed, but when he has his pieces, he's good. It is what it is.
God, Bo Nix catching stray bullets over here. Not even on the schedule, but Bo's still letting down that game.
Bro, Bo Nix is terrible.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Like, why they fired Gus over that kid. But he's not a good quarterback.
And he's a terrible father.
And did you – whoa, that's hey. That's also not an endorsement. Like, did you see the quarterback that Gatewood went to go play with Gus again at UCF? I thought that was interesting.
Pardon?
Joey Gatewood transferred from Kentucky. Was at Auburn before with Gus Malzahn. Now he's at UCF with Gus. I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, 904 boy.
Yeah,
we don't hear a lot about him recently.
Yeah, he's letting the mixed tribe down, to be honest with you. I'm about to just stop playing with him. Because if you're a skilled player, you go to Gus Malzahn, let alone twice. I mean, I don't claim you anymore. I mean, hopefully the kid's a tight end, pulls like a Logan Thomas, but I mean, he can't throw. I mean, it is what it is.
I don't think Gus actually needs you to throw a lot. He had what kid? Nick
his best quarterback, Nick Marshall.
Nick Marshall, right?
That was it. That's all he had.
I don't think he was a great thrower at all. Yeah.
So I mean, I think Gus will be decent at UCF. It's a good spot for him. I mean, he can kind of chill. He'll get another P5 gig, but I mean, it's UCF, and it's they can't beat Tulsa, but that's not here nor there.
How long do you think Gus Malzahn's at UCF? Over under 2 years, 3 years, over under 3 years.
Yeah, 3's the sweet spot.
I say push 3.
Say 3.
Actually, I take that. I take that back. I say
2. Yeah, I say 2.
I think he's going 2
because he'll capitalize. I mean, he has a competent quarterback. I mean, they're not used to that type of offense. He's got to worry about 1 or 2 teams, and they'll lose to Cincinnati and Tulsa again, and finish around 20-ish country.
All right. Mike, you're on the timeline a lot. You see a lot of the names people are throwing out there: DeMarcus Bowman, Nick Elksness, Whittemore Copeland. What's a name that you're intrigued? That's maybe not a name that everybody's talking about this year.
Freshman or just player in general?
Yeah, anybody.
I'm gonna go with the center.
Okay.
We
just call him Kingsley on this show.
Yeah, one name you can't pronounce. I like you.
I'm gonna go with him because the one thing that intrigued me, they said he's arguably the strongest guy on the team, and he's not the biggest guy. So if you can get a guy who can anchor that middle, because you obviously have the big heavies on each side of him. Because the one guy I'm worried about is Jordan Davis. He petrifies me. I actually like him as a player. He's just unfortunately on Georgia. But if you can anchor, sink your hips against Jordan Davis and not require double team every time, I mean that's going to be the world. So and Tim Smith as well. So that's going to be my player. If I think the O-line hinges on him. I mean, you can obviously get by with the right tackle, and then Garage is going to be steady Eddie, and Reese dropped about 20, 30 pounds, and White's going to be a plus. So I mean, that's your key and cog.
I ain't hear a name though. You got a lot of takes, but you left a name out.
What 56? In terms of what?
No, you said a lot of names at offensive line. Like, what do you expect out of 56?
No, he said Kingsley.
No, but he said Garage is gonna be steady Eddie. He had a role for everybody, but he stopped at the guy. So I was just like, okay, let's keep the roles going.
I mean, I think 56. I mean, he's obviously our best option. He was asked back for a reason. He is what he is. I mean, but you can't put a price on experience. I mean, if you're working a lot of read option, for example, you can do 3-step drops. I mean, it'll help his pass set.
I only hope is
more tight ends.
If like they're saying that he's a better run blocker than pass blocker, right? Okay. So that's our best hope right now, that like we're going to run heavy. So maybe he is a better run blocker than a pass blocker. So he probably is better suited than not just having to drop back into do pass blocking every down. So we'll see what's up.
Yeah, and also at the same time, you're running more tight end set. That's going to change split to maybe a 5-tech to a 7-tech. Right. It's going to help him out 3-step drop. You run it, help him out tremendously. So I mean, like I said, it is what it is. We were 6 points away from an SEC championship game. In my opinion, we're a more talented team, and Bama Oregon are both less talented. So I like our shot.
So you have Florida going undefeated this year?
Pardon?
You have Florida go undefeated this season?
No chance. 1 loss.
To who?
Don't say it. Don't say it on here.
You're gonna
give it to Kentucky. Give it to Kentucky or somebody, bro. You can't I don't know what you got going on right now, but you're being weird.
LSU.
Okay.
That's not what he wanted to say. He just wants to avoid your wrath. So.
No. I say LSU. I think the 2 corners are gonna give Emory hell, and it's in Baton Rouge. So I mean, I hope I'm wrong because I'll be there. So.
I don't think no corner's gonna get Emory hell because I trust my wide receivers to be able to get off on anybody 1-on-1, straight up.
I mean, I'm just worried about Emory's reads. That's his progression.
I can see that.
I love his accuracy. I've said this numerous times. I'm worried about his progressions.
I just hope he just take off and like get chunk yards in the run game and or progressions and anything that we have to deal with unless it's like 3rd and long or we're in those situations. But yes, of course, it's gonna become a point in time in football, but you just got to go through progressions,
Absolutely.
But I think he can make up some of that, not being able to go through progressions like trash with his feet.
Yeah, I mean, as if it's even if it's 1 or 2 step, first, second progression, just take off. I mean, I'm all for it.
Right. All right, Mike. Appreciate you for coming hang out with us, my dude. You got me coming to this Bama game. I just hit up my dudes, man. See if they give me some Bama tickets.
Right up, man.
Pulling up.
I want to say it's been a pleasure not seeing Nick tonight.
I'm down bad in Vegas, and then you're just kicking me while I'm down.
No, I appreciate
you. Kicked enough. You got it, bro. We'll have you on more in the future.
Appreciate you.
All right, dude. Have a good one.
All right, we got you up.
We got one more coming on, but he's at the gym right now, so whenever he notices, he's ready to come on. There he is.
He got the Amazon leggings on.
There he is.
I see you.
Hey, man, y'all chill out, man.
All right, we got Gator headquarters on the phone.
Gator motherfucking headquarters, what's going on?
We hanging out a little bit, man. We getting we're talking a little fall ball talk, man. We getting our lives off. Mike was just on here saying we're gonna beat Bama. I'm trying to figure out what you got going. You heard him? Oh, you backstage?
I'm tuned in. I'm working out, but I'm tuned in. Yeah, I mean, I'm with my boy. Fuck Bama. What you mean? Hey, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it 100. On the timeline, I keep it. I don't talk too reckless, but just like I don't react to every practice clip that come out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I be tuned in to the streets what they be saying. But Man, fuck Bama. If we gonna if we gonna beat them anytime when when we gonna beat them?
Right, it's perfect time.
Yeah,
It's
especially
perfect
game
time. We
3.
in the
Yep.
swamp. Historically, Nick Saban, even though I've seen his program evolve since those days, but historically he has an issue with mobile quarterbacks. So
Right,
I feel like we got the recipe, especially Dan Mullen. Like I feel like the kind of offense he run is prototypical for beating like a Nick Saban type system. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's gonna be. I think Bama, and rightfully so, they getting the accolades right now because they got a proven track record. I mean, they've been
for
on
sure.
top for like most of the past decades. You know, so I get why they're favored or whatever, why nobody giving us a chance. But sometimes I don't understand why against teams like Georgia, I guess because they win the recruiting title every year. I don't get why they get so much benefit of the doubt when they haven't
Right.
accomplished shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm with Mike though. Fuck Bama, man.
Yeah, I think it's opportune time. I think our staff are like gunning for that game right now. I don't think we have to game plan for the first 2 games. So it'd be very wise for them to be. I don't think Bama has that same luxury. I think they do have to come with a game plan and ready to play Miami because everybody's gonna play Bama. Bama's everybody's Super Bowl. So they do got to
Speaking of,
prepare for that game a little bit. So I do
yeah,
think it's an opportunistic year, man. If we could win that game, they could do wonders for this regime, the program. Like this would do wonders for us, man. So I'm
and
pulling
I
up.
think
I got to.
I think the Miami game will give us. I think we can learn a lot from that, considering that
Mm-hmm.
they got a quarterback like Derek King, and he does some of the things that Emory does. Even though it's a different system, but we can kind of see how they match up and how they decide to play the Eric King. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Absolutely.
so
Who do you have as the leading interception getter beyond? Well, I guess just who do you have as the leading interception getter on this team?
I mean, I got to go with Kyer. I know he probably not is going to get as many targets as the other side. I'm gonna go with Kyer. I want to say I want to say Trey Dean, but I'm gonna go with Kyer. I'm gonna go with
Okay.
Kyer for my answer on that one.
I like that. I like that. Who do
So
you have as the leading rusher on the team?
the leading rusher, running back. We are running back by committee. The leading rusher. I'm gonna say I'm gonna go out on a limb. I want to say Lingard, but I don't know how they're gonna
Ooh.
utilize them. I don't know how they're gonna utilize them boys. You know what I mean? But I've been hearing some things. But I'm gonna go with Naquan.
Okay.
I like that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Naquan.
I like Lingard too.
I like Lingard too. I just want to see how he developed and what he got going on, how they utilize him. But as far as what I've seen, I think Naquan is the most complete back we have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lingard's kind of like the only one not getting talked about. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard anything about Wright.
No. But I
haven't
also
heard
agree with
anything
you.
about.
He's like Malik Davis is your pass catcher. Damian
Mhm.
Pierce might be like your goal line guy. Naquan Wright does both. Like he can run
Yeah.
around you, run through you. He can catch the ball. So to me, I'd start Naquan. You got to figure out a way to get Bowman on the field and get touches.
Most definitely.
And I'm intrigued by Lingard too.
So and I'm just curious to see how the improvements on defense, man. That's really what I'm looking to see. I mean we can't be no worse, bro. I think what historically that was the worst defense in Florida history.
Worst
Yeah,
thing
it's
I
up
ever
there.
saw in my life.
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on.
Bro, I've never seen anything like that, bro.
And then like
At
Marco was
Florida.
looking good preseason. Like we gotta have that conversation. But Marco was looking really good preseason. I don't know. He's looking like a different guy. So I don't know what was going on last year.
Dan Mullen's been a coach for 13 years, and he fired one coach before last year. Marco's looking good. I think that was a good secondary, and there's a reason there's 2 new secondary coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And I think that was a big part of it, man. I think the changes in the secondary coach is gonna pay huge dividend. I like our new cornerback coach, man.
Interesting. Who's your breakout freshman beyond Jason Marshall?
Ooh, beyond Jason, because that was gonna be my answer. I'm gonna say breakout freshman beyond Jason Marshall. You know what? I'm gonna have to go with Burke, man.
All right.
I'm gonna have to go with Burke, man. I've been hearing that boy been balling in camp, and then every time I see the little videos they put out, he on there. So
Yeah, we haven't seen a camp like this since from a freshman since Antonio Callaway.
bro, like, and people, fans like to react to every little clip that come out, bro. And I'm like, bro, this is camp, bro. We go through this every year, dog. Like, motherfuckers acting like this shit the gospel.
It's 1 million snaps at practice, man. They think like one clip just like solidifies everything in the whole season.
These people crazy. They don't even know what the team working on
at all.
That's the thing about clips. They're like, oh, look at this guy whiff. It's like you don't even know what his responsibility was.
Bro, the last thing I'm worried about
I don't think
with the Dan Mullen coach team is
though.
offense. The last thing I'm worried about with the Dan Mullen coach team is offense, especially in year 3 or 4, bro. Like, come on.
Yeah, he's gonna put a competent product out there offensively. I seen the miracle he did with Felipe year 1, so I'm not expecting a shit show offense, but I am ready to critique my offensive line and
that's the only thing I'm worried about.
For sure.
That's the only thing I'm worried about, bro. Offensive line, bro. That's been our only weakness on offense the last couple of years. To be honest with you, last year if we had a decent O line, bro, we would have won a lot. We would have been in a lot more games. Well, yeah,
with a post.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. Yeah, the line wouldn't have mattered if we had at least a decent defense. But yeah, bro, that's my I'm gonna say that's my breakout freshman. I'm honestly, bro, like I'm interested to see. It's players that I've been waiting to see for years, bro. Like motherfucking Rick Wells. I want to see how he contribute. I want to see I can't pronounce Buddy's name, but he a DN, edge rusher. He got
Princely.
Yeah, I want to see
what are you saying, Nick?
I want to see Princely. I want to see Princely. You know what I mean? They already say GD out there eating. You know what I mean? So
yeah, the pass rush should be bananas, man. I think the defense is gonna step up, be better this year. That don't mean that I'm gonna be absolutely excited about the scheme or whatever we got going on. I just think we got better talent going out there this year. So naturally, we have a better defense.
Honestly, bro, I think if they utilize a lot more press man coverage like we used to do, I think that'll help our defense a lot, especially our secondary, bro.
We just couldn't get to the passer last year, and I think when you got you can't get to the passer who's out of position with the defensive tackles. Like, so we had Zach playing in the middle to start the season, so that kind of threw off our rhythm early in the year with pass rushing.
Right.
I mean, Cox coming like you. Pause. Cox doing his thing. He started getting into a little rhythm pass rushing wise, but then he wouldn't set the edge. So I think our defensive line is more solidified this year, and it starts up front. If we can get to the rusher fast, of course we could jam guys at the line of scrimmage because they ain't got to cover guys for a whole 6 seconds.
What's up with Bogle?
Bogle about to eat. That's my guy. That's who I got. That's my dude on defense right now. Breakout player, MVP of the defense. Just put a shitload of stats. I know Brenton Cox is the big name at that position, but I think Bogle gonna have a real big year.
Man, I've been waiting for Bogle, man. But it's players like that I'm looking. What's up with Hopper? We gonna finally let that man. You know what I'm saying?
Allegedly.
I don't think they have a choice.
We'll see him.
We'll see.
Okay. But
that's what I want to see on the field. Like, I'm ready to see these athletic kids that we've been recruiting. That we was excited about getting Hopper, so I'm ready to see his development. We know what the other regime, the linebackers they brought in. I want to see the new guys. Let's see what's up.
But all right, besides that, I just want to get your opinion on the opener. Like, how y'all think that Miami Bama game gonna look? Georgia Clemson, what's your prediction?
I think Miami doesn't cover their 19.
Damn.
Whereas like 19. I don't think they cover.
That's a rough opener.
That's rough, bro.
Yeah,
and I actually, we'll see. We'll see. I think, honestly, I think that Bama defense is gonna be a little too much for them boys. I think it's not gonna balance.
I don't think the receiving core. I think Miami has like a run game that I think they better get some stuff off. I do think Lashley can scheme. He's gonna scheme some things open. They're gonna get some things open. They're gonna have some explosive plays, no doubt. But I just don't think they have the personnel to hang with Bama and to rotate. Yeah. They don't have any pass rushes on defensive end. They got the
linebackers.
Linebackers is mid. I'm not even believing in that secondary. They trying to lie about a little bit. I just don't see it. I think I don't think they cover that 19. I think it's ugly.
I'll be honest with you. I'm not even sold on Derek King, man. I think that he's
not
good.
At all.
I think that he's fine. I think that he had a good time at Houston. Obviously coming off injury, I just don't know if I buy him as a guy that's going to be this, Heisman guy or even a top 3 or top 4 ACC quarterback. I just don't see it. I mean, I hope the best for the kid, but I know, but I just don't think that Derek King's that good, to be honest with you. I think that he's obviously athletic, but I think he struggles with accuracy. I think he struggles with the deep ball, and I think he struggles with decision making. All things that Miami, with a kind of a bad offensive line, probably in a worse situation than Florida. I think that he's going to struggle. I think he's going to struggle mightily, and I think his confidence is going to get shaken. And I just don't see it, man.
Yeah, my sentiments exactly. I think he's good. I think he's overhyped in the media, though. I don't know, for some reason they want Miami to be back so bad. You know what I mean? But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm just not. I don't think anybody outside of Miami is buying it like that. Anybody? Of course, the media got a hype. They gonna the name, the marquee, he's getting this NIL stuff.
And it's good for college football,
right? But I didn't see the throws. Like when it came down, he had to stretch the field. It just wasn't there. He couldn't make throws in tight windows, and those type of throws you're gonna have to make and playing a team like Bama. You're gonna need a big arm and have to make some things happen. And we also gonna see if that knee is really healthy in live action.
Yeah, they definitely gonna test it
for sure.
I think it's gonna come down to the trenches, bro. And I don't think them boys gonna match up.
For sure. Hey, click clap, man. We gotta get up out of here, man.
Yeah, man. My phone hanging out with y'all boys.
Yeah, man, what you gonna listen to now? Man. We killed your whole workout, right?
Man, I'm about to get the charge out the car, man.
All right, man. Appreciate
if you need some music recommendations, just hit my DMs. I got you.
All right, then, Tavius, I got you. All right, bro. Hey, go motherfucking Gators. You ain't a Gator, you a motherfucking hater.
Oh, man. Click clack. Always one of my favorite callers of any show. Just say one of my favorite human beings of all time. All right,
great guy for the most part.
I got a bunch of stuff that we can talk about next week. Let's just push it to next week. Let's give a shout out to our friends before we get into buy or sell at Prize Picks. So if you are looking to do some daily fantasy, you're looking to do some props, check out Prize Picks. Use promo code SG. I'll get a $1 for $1 match all the way up to $100. A bunch of you guys have already signed up. We appreciate that. PrizePicks.com, promo code SG. All right, boys. Buy or sell. We forgot to put these on the Twitter timeline today, so we'll remember to do that next week. Nick Elksness, the guy that everybody's talking about at tight end, rookie phenom, buy or sell, 12, let's just say 11.5 catches. Buy or sell?
Buy.
11.5 plus, I'm sorry.
Okay. I mean, I had to. After all I talked about earlier in the pod, I got to buy that.
All right, buy. So
we fly high, no lie.
No lie.
Ballin'. I'm buying it.
I'm gonna sell. I think that he's gonna be a great player. I think that he's gonna have an impact, but I think he gets, He gets 9 or 10 catches this year. I think, you're not seeing as much Gamble and Zipper. I think that, Elksness is going to be a guy that plays a bit, but I'm going to sell 11.5 catches. I think he ends somewhere around, 8, 9, 10. I think Florida has a lot of pass catchers this year, so I'm going to sell that one. I'm surprised that I'm selling and Nick's buying. Nick's usually a seller, But
No, that was like when you had the old CD player. That was like a record skip. Silk's halfway through the song, and Dan shakes up the CD player.
Right.
Ruined
What's
it.
up?
Hater.
my bad. That's my. I'll work on it for next season.
That's all good.
Buy or sell. Josh Braun is starting on the offensive line by the Alabama game.
Woo. I'm gonna buy it just because I gotta buy it. Shout out to Brunt. I think Brunt's started by then. I think they should give him some opportunities in those 2 games, and I think on film, he's gonna be able to show that he's a better offensive lineman. I don't know if that he is right now. I think we'll all find out in those first 2 games, but yeah, I'm buying it.
I'm gonna sell just because of the time. I think by the end of the year he will be starting. I just think those first.
Bama's a rough week.
That's a rough week. That's a rough week.
I can see that.
I don't think he'll start versus Bama, but he might start soon after.
You think he'll earn his spot in that game, Nick?
I think someone might earn it for him.
Oh, very good. All right, I'm gonna buy. I think that Josh Braun is a guy that's talented. I think that he's going to earn his way on the field. I think that he's going to start that Alabama game. I think the game before is against USF is the game that he starts. He comes to Tampa boy, playing high school grad. No, I lied. He's from Lake City, so never mind. I still think he starts the USF game. Gets him ready for that game against Alabama, and I think that he starts. I think that he's too talented not to play, and Florida needs some help, in pass catch or in pass protection and rushing. So I have him starting, and then finally, boys, let's get into it. We're a week before the game starts. We got some NCAA futures out. We got some over-unders out. Florida right now sits in the 9th best odds to win the national championship. So this has Florida at plus 3,300. So you bet $100 on the Gators to win the national championship, you win $3,300. All right, boys, buy or sell that Florida finishes ranked 9th or higher at the end of the season. 9th or higher to conclude the season.
Ninth or higher is going to require you 10, 11 wins.
Mm-hmm. How are we buying and selling this?
Buy the Gators are ranked. I'm sorry. Yeah, you can say higher or lower, or buy the Gators ranked 9th or higher, or sell the Gators ranked 10th or lower.
Sell. I think they rank 10th or lower. Like Silk said, I think to be 9 or higher, you've got that's 10, 11 wins. And I think 10 is probably, in terms of the regular season, 10 is like the ceiling, I think, in my mind for Florida right now.
Yeah. Sorry, this was to conclude the entire season, so bowl game included.
So if
I'm a sell.
Okay.
I'm a sell.
All right. Well, I know which one of you guys don't have the Gators going undefeated this season.
No, I lie in different segments. Like you guys.
You're just hedging your bet.
You guys are coming back to this segment to to see if I audit my lies. So I need to be a little clean here.
I need someone not to audit my lies that I've already lost track
of.
Oh,
Nick, don't worry. We got it in a tracker and all. We're going to keep track of the amount of money you would have lost if you bet $100 on every bet. All right. Well, I'm going to buy. Okay. I think the Gators finished somewhere between 6 and 8 to end the season. I think that Florida puts it all together. I think that they step up significantly on defense. I have the Gators doing well on offense. For all intents and purposes of this show, somebody's got to buy, so I'll do it today. Silk has the Gators beating Alabama. and not finishing in the top 10. So, you know, it's going to show we're running today.
Bro, Silk has got a wild season planned out in his head.
No, I'm just covering my courses. I've been doing this for a long time, Nick. So if you say a little bit on each side,
okay,
cover yourself, man. So I could pull tape from either side right now. So I'm good to go.
I love it. Silk's going to post a see, I told you so. And he's got like 71 clips lined up.
Yeah,
love it.
I got takes from every angle. So.
Oh, man. That concludes buy and sell. Silk, get us into the Manscaped adder. And then while you're doing that, think of what your song of the week is going to be, my friend.
I think I know my song of the week too. I've been grooving lately. Shout out to the great folks at manscaped.com. Thanks for providing me with the greatest deodorant of all time. And it's not for my armpits, it's for my balls. Be sure to use coupon code SG at checkout. Get the deodorant, get the Lawnmower 4.0, glows in the dark, nice little light so you won't skimp anything. Skin safe technology, waterproof. You could do it in the shower. Coupon code SG at checkout for 20% off, free shipping. Take care of them family jewels.
Already. All right, so
What have I been grooving to lately?
take us out.
I got you, bro. A nice little tune yesterday. Nice little jingle. It is called Big Luther by GQ.
Big Luther by GQ.
Nice little jingle. Right. Yeah. We out of here? Same corner, same time?
Same corner, same time. We are out of here.
Bet.
Hey, safe travels, Nick.
I'll try.
Nick, I hope you feel better.
Get some money, bro.
It's definitely the allergies out here. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
It wasn't
COVID.
It wasn't excessive drinking. It better not be COVID. But on a plane.
I think it's probably a lot of things, Nilk.
Milk.
Here you go again with this milk.
There you go.
Get out of here.
Nick, I think it's a lot of things, Nick.
Shut up and milk boys.
That's crazy. Like we Bradgelina out here.
Yeah, I can see it.
Oh,
Y'all are funny.
we
All right, boys.
lost control.
Same corner, same time next week.